If you feel like the overall quality of your life and your mind has not really improved after learning about manifestation, you are not alone. There is a crap ton of advice on manifestation online, and it can feel really overwhelming sometimes trying to find a way that works for you. But that's what I'm here for. I want to make it clear that there is no universal right or wrong way to manifest, but there are different approaches, different perspectives that you can take depending on you. It's just a matter of finding a way that feels the most aligned and feels the most healthy for you. Because no one wants to be doing something that makes them feel drained and tired and sucks the life out of them. That is not about manifestation, because manifestation is supposed to make you feel empowered and like a powerful person, essentially. And just a disclaimer, this video is only for those of you who are genuinely fed up, tired, drained from this entire manifestation process. And if you're perfectly happy with doing what you're doing to manifest and you're seeing the results that you want reflected back to you, then this is not the video for you. So goodbye. First up on the list, I've got mindless affirmations or robotic affirmations, whatever you want to call them. It's the technique where you are basically repeating things on end over and over again. Whenever you've got a bit of free time, whenever you've got space to even think, you fill it up with a mindless affirmation. That's what I'm talking about. So the thing with robotic affirmations, mindless affirming, is that they actually serve as a distraction from your own mind. Yes, you heard that right. They are actually a distraction, because when you are affirming something like, I'm chosen, I'm prioritized, I'm so loved, and you don't even feel that way, it's most likely because you are covering something up deep down. And by affirming something else, by affirming something that clearly feels contradictory to you, you are not willing to look at what's actually going on that deeper level. And you are trying to cover it up with basically what seems to be a good affirmation. And therefore, it's a distraction. You are trying to numb yourself by repeating all these affirmations nonstop because you're scared that once you stop affirming, a negative thought's going to come in, a contradictory thought's going to come in, and you don't actually know how to handle it or deal with it or dissolve it or let it go. And so you're just stuck affirming all day. You have to have the skill to learn how to navigate through those negative thoughts, because you can't possibly control every single thought that you ever get. It's just not possible. You're a human. You're obviously going to get negative thoughts and negative feelings from time to time. And you have to have the skill to know how to diffuse those thoughts and those feelings so that they don't have as much control and power over you. And robotic affirming, funnily enough, distracts you from learning that skill, because it's implying that if all you do is affirm all day, then you'll never get any negative thoughts. You're essentially trying to take a shortcut by thinking that you can inject yourself and override these old beliefs with these new thoughts. The problem with this is that your old thoughts, your old beliefs are going to want to fight for their survival. They're not going to back down that easily. So when you affirm those new things and you haven't really released those old beliefs or dealt with them, they are going to fight back. They are going to tell you, nope, you're wrong, actually. They're going to fight against those new beliefs. And that's what makes you feel so drained, because all your energy is going towards trying to alleviate this conflict that's going on internally. So zoom out and see the bigger picture here and see how mindlessly affirming is really serving as a distraction, preventing you from becoming aware of the actual cause and the root of your mind. And like I said earlier, there's just pure conflict and pure chaos going on internally, because there's no balance, there's no harmony inside you, so you can't be at peace, and you just feel drained because all your energy has gone towards trying to cover up those past beliefs or bury them underneath these new affirmations. Here's the thing as well. To let go of a past pattern, to let go of a past belief or programming, you have to first become aware of it. You have to first acknowledge what it even is. Because if you don't know what it is, if you aren't even aware of what your programming or your past belief, your old belief is, how can you let go of it? How can you release it? How can you overcome it? And I know some coaches tell you if you just keep affirming, regardless of how crap you're feeling, eventually it's going to sink in at some point. But this comes from a lack of understanding, because even if it does sink in, it doesn't sink in because of the actual technique or the actual affirming that you're doing. It's sinking in because you're willing to let go of whatever fear, whatever anxiety, whatever doubt you're holding on to. So the power doesn't actually lie in the technique itself, it lies in you. No power is in the techniques, because all the techniques are is a tool for you to better be a more powerful version of you. And realize that it doesn't actually matter what technique you do, because if you feel a lot of resistance towards these new affirmations, these new beliefs, then doing the techniques is honestly pointless, because you're only delaying the process by preventing you from getting to the root, discovering why exactly you are unconsciously denying these new affirmations. What's the reason behind this? So listen to your gut. Don't force yourself to do something that clearly makes you feel miserable, that clearly does not bring you any joy or happiness. Don't do something just because someone on the internet said that it worked wonders for them. Test it out for yourself. Listen to your body, listen to how you respond, and go from there. Another important thing to consider when you are robotically affirming is the state at which you are repeating those affirmations. Because if you are affirming things out of fear, out of anxiety, out of doubt, then those techniques will only reinforce that state within you. They are not going to change anything, because your state that you're doing them from is just pure fear, pure doubt. This is just my personal opinion, but vain repetition is not the best way to do things, because think about it. If you were a powerful person, if you believed that you were a powerful creator of your reality and you were a god of your reality, would you really be sitting in your room affirming something 24/7, trying to fill up your mind with one affirmation all day long? Or would you be out there living your best life? Realize that you'd have to be super desperate, super in lack for you to do something like that, because you're so desperate to see some sort of result that you're going to cling on to anything. Next up, we've got flipping negative thoughts. So I know that some coaches will tell you, as soon as you get a negative thought, as soon as you get something negative within your mind, you got to flip it. You got to tell yourself the opposite and affirm the opposite. Similarly to how I said robotic affirmations distract you from becoming aware of the cause or the root of your mind, flipping thoughts kind of does the same thing. The problem is that you never get to the root, you never get to the cause of the negative thought. You never get to understand the reason why you are having this negative thought in the first place. Is it an underlying fear? Is it an underlying doubt? Is it an underlying past belief that's trying to come up? You never get to see that, because you're just flipping that thought as soon as you get it. And to me, flipping thoughts is similar to sticking a band-aid on an infection. On the outside, when you stick a band-aid on an infection, it seems like everything's perfect now. Everything's completely fine. But the reality is, the infection hasn't actually been treated. It hasn't actually been addressed. You've just tried to cover it up with a band-aid. And nothing's actually getting better or improving, because you haven't dealt with the actual root behind the problem, which was the infection. It also reminds me of that meme where the guy sticks this huge black duct tape over this leaking water tank. I'll insert a picture here if I can. So a sign that something is not right is when you flip a thought and you tell yourself a positive affirmation like, I'm so chosen, I'm so loved, I'm a queen, or whatever. A second voice immediately pops up and contradicts those affirmations and goes, yeah, right, like as if, like, no, you're not, right? It's that voice in your head. And if you're trying to suppress this second voice in your head, it tells me that you're not very honest with yourself. You're not being honest with how you're truly feeling on that deeper level. And instead, you're trying to force yourself into this perfect box and think these perfect thoughts for the sake of manifesting something, most likely a specific person. The beauty of manifestation is truly learning about you, learning about the contents of your mind and why you think the way you do, why you behave the way you do, why you get the thoughts that you do. It's a journey of discovering who you are. It's largely about how past experiences might have led to specific beliefs that you are now becoming aware of and now have the opportunity to let go. Robotic affirming and flipping thoughts prevent you from having that deeper understanding with yourself and becoming aware of how past experiences might have contributed towards these current negative beliefs that you're holding within yourself, and you aren't actually allowed to become aware of that and therefore change it and let it go. This is why I dislike the advice of having to flip negative thoughts as soon as you get them, because when you get a negative thought, that is an opportunity for you to be curious about yourself, and wonder why you might be getting this thought in the first place. What's the story you're holding on to, and how can you release that? How can you genuinely remove this negative thought, not by covering it up, but by removing the root, by removing the cause? The third thing that I do not agree with is coaches who tell you you are not allowed to react, or don't react, don't get negative thoughts, you're not allowed to get them, without actually, number one, bothering to look at why you find the situation triggering in the first place and removing the trigger, or at least alleviating the power that this trigger has on you. Now listen, I know what it feels like when someone tells you don't react, but your entire nervous system is in overdrive and it's just itching to explode, and you have no idea why, you have no idea what to do. The advice don't react honestly just makes the entire situation worse, and you make yourself feel worse about yourself because it feels like you're going crazy and there's something inherently wrong with you and no one's able to tell you why. I also feel that it is extremely ignorant as a coach to tell a student don't react, because as a coach I feel it is my responsibility to guide my students through these moments where they are clearly feeling triggered and actually teach them the skills to navigate through the trigger. I want people to learn how to effectively navigate situations where they feel reactive and have the tools, the resources, the understanding to know how to deal with them. Because that's essentially how you decrease the power that this trigger, that this reactive reaction has over you and your life. Not to mention this advice of don't react, don't get negative thoughts, you're not allowed to react. This only contributes to the toxic shame, the toxic guilt that students will feel. And people are just left feeling so ashamed of themselves with nothing to fend for themselves, no tools, no resources, no deeper understanding to help them navigate the times where they actually feel reactive or get negative thoughts, and they're just left to fend for themselves. Listen, we are all humans. We will get reactive from time to time. That is just the nature of the human experience. We will get negative thoughts here and there, and that is completely okay. There is nothing wrong with that. When you tell someone that they aren't supposed to react or that they aren't allowed to react, you're just adding so much more tremendous pressure onto them. And so when they do react, they feel so much resistance towards themselves. And in general, I think it does more harm than good. So the main takeaway of this video, be in your discernment. Do not blindly follow someone else's advice and eat it up without a second thought. Do not force yourself to do something or continue to do something that clearly makes you feel bad about yourself, clearly makes you feel miserable and unhappy just because you read online that it worked for someone else. Always, always, always test things with an open mind for yourself first before committing to them, and notice how things make you feel. You want to do things that actually make you feel more empowered rather than something that makes you feel drained and sucks the joy out of your life and makes you want to give up. You do not want to be doing things like that, because that is not what manifestation is about. Do not do something just because someone says it works. Your mental well-being is the most important thing here. Your mental well-being is not worth sacrificing over any result, over any manifestation, because you are the most important manifestation. You are the most important manifestation, truly. Your life, your feelings, your mind, your body, these are more important than anything external that you want to manifest. Let that sink in. Okay, you are the most important thing here. Your mental well-being is the most important thing here, because what does it mean to have something external if you are just so miserable? If you are doing something and it's really making you suffer, give it up. I promise there will always be a route that is more aligned, more healthy, more happy for you, and less resistant for you. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will catch you guys next time. Bye!